She not do nothing for your man. She are just answered to his. I saw this message by myself.
What is the message?
So I saw this message by myself.
Джулия, я с ним встречаюсь 3 года, он меня не пригласил.
You know, when you try and go and speak to someone, you want to try and reason with them. You know, you want to have that conversation to say, hey, shouldn't your attention be at this situation and not at this situation? And the matter of the fact is, Julia's just trying to say to her that you should see the messages, okay? And Sophie didn't do anything wrong necessarily. But you know Natalie, she doesn't care about that. She wants to be, you know, she always wants to be in her feelings. She always wants to express her emotions, even if they're wrong. No, that's a lie. Even when they are always wrong, that's the truth, okay? And here's the thing. Imagine someone coming out there to actually try and be there for you, and the last thing that you say before you leave the whole event is, everyone can go F themselves, and everyone can go to F and hell. She wonders why people don't like her. She wonders why she has no friends. She said recently, okay, that she feels victimized by everybody. If you haven't seen the video where she has made a whole post pretty much calling out cast members, go check it out and you will see exactly how she's thrown every single one of them under the bus, purely because she believes that they are all against her because Sophie and Julia were, you know, plotting ideas against her. And to be fair, she did say that everything will be revealed in the more episodes to come. Well, guess what? This is episode 1 since then. And it shows me that clearly you are the problem. Because Julia's coming out there to actually have a conversation with you, to calm you down, to open your eyes. And your reaction is, he was messaging some effing whore? And then also on top of that, everyone can go to effing hell? Even if it was true, that maybe people have been targeting her for this season, it still matters how you conduct yourself. How you conduct yourselves will then obviously, you know, set the path to the next events of what's going to happen next. And how she does it always sets the path to the next event of just mayhem. I wonder, does Natalie know anything that doesn't involve mayhem?
And you're incredibly you're whore, low class, low key whore. Everything that works, and I cannot be next to you because I'm afraid to catch something.
And now we're in the next day. Josh is trying to have a conversation with her, trying to have a cordial, adult conversation with her. And what does she want to do? She wants to continue throwing out the word whore time and time again. I'm afraid I might catch something. You F anything that walks. So wait, hold on a minute. Does Natalie hate Sophie that bad? That bad? The point where she's saying Joshua will just sleep with anything that walks? Or does this stem from something else that's happened between these two? Honestly, I don't know how you can be at that age in your life and have such hate in your heart, have such anger within your soul that you only want to see red. You never want to see green. Only red.
Little afraid that I might catch crazy if we keep going this. With Josh. What do you want to get out of this with him?
We need to understand each other more, and we doesn't talk the same language.
You cannot be sitting here and telling us that after however many years you and Josh have been a thing, you cannot tell me that you are in a position where you still have issues with communication. Because then that tells me that clearly your relationship has never been a relationship in the beginning. I don't know whose relationship is worse. Natalie and Josh's, Gino and Jasmine's, or Sophie and Rob's. Because all of these relationships, well, actually no, hell with that, to be honest with you, even with Brandon and Julia, and even with freaking, you know, Ben and Ari. Surprisingly, to be honest with you, as much as I hate to say it, seems to me as if Stacey and Florida are the ones that has a decent amount of communication. But here's the thing though, how can you be in a relationship after, forget that, sorry, I'm lying. How can you still be chasing a man that won't claim you to be his woman when you know that the relation, when you know that your communication still has not improved since day dot? You was with a man that tolerated and was willing to tolerate your BS, Mike. You got rid of him. Now you're chasing a man that doesn't even care anything about you, to the point where you're here in a therapy session with a man that's never been your man. How is this a couple's therapy if you two have never been a couple in the freaking first place? And you're talking about how your communication sucks. Let's just let that one sink in. The stupidity.
Things that he knows will lead to exposure from my side.
I think that
So here's the thing. She also further adds on that she believed that Josh purposely provokes her. Purposely provokes her. He knows that she's emotional, and therefore he does things that's going to get her upset. I'm going to say this. For the years that we've seen these two on screen, I can't recall any moment, and if there has been any moment, it's probably been about maybe 1 or 2 moments where maybe Josh has tried to antagonize her. Maybe he has tried to provoke her. But the reality is that that is all in the head, because I don't remember that happening. The fact that she's saying this tells me everything that I need to know about this woman. She's somebody who created a narrative in her head, even if the narrative isn't even realistic, even if the narrative doesn't actually exist. That's what she does. Because, yo, can you tell me any point where Josh has purposely gone out of his way to, you know, he's purposely pushed buttons just to get an explosive reaction out of her? Because it seems to me that no matter what Josh says, unless he says something that she wants to hear, she's always going to be explosive. Same as Mike. With Mike, with Mike, she was explosive just for fun. She was explosive just for sport. Man didn't even have to do anything wrong. All he had to do was just breathe, and she was ready to switch on him, just like that, just like that.
something from your past is affecting you?
I was not loved by kids in my school. They would, like, for example, they do something, Natalie did it. Girl, we were sitting at class, and she got a lot of chewing-gum, she was eating them and cutting them and throwing to my head.
Listen, when I saw this scene here, I'll tell you what I thought. I said to myself 2 things. First things first. When people go to therapists, there are a lot of people who go there and they will tell a therapist certain things because they know that the therapist is going to give them validation for their actions. Okay, it's going to make them, it's going to give them that validation for the actions, right? So therefore, they don't feel like as if they're really that much of a bad person. That's one of the worst things about therapy. People don't always go there to tell the full truth. They go there to tell parts that fits their narrative, right? So at first I was like, maybe she's just telling this story for that. And I still do believe that. But then it brought me to my second point. And I said to myself, how do we not know that this story that she's telling us wasn't her doing this to somebody else? I mean, it fits the profile. Because let's think about it this way. Has Natalie shown us that she's been able to grow from the little girl that she was to who she is now? Now, of course, granted that we never knew who she was when she was a child. Nor did we know who she was when she was a teenager. Nor did we know who she was when she was in her 20s. But we've definitely known her since she's been on the show. And can we say that she's ever matured or changed throughout that timeline? No. Since the very beginning she's been on this TV show, her attitude has been the same. Her personality has been the same. Everything has been the same, which tells me that she's been like this, stuck in her ways for a long time. And if anything, I would say with age, she has gotten even worse. Even worse. So therefore, I asked a question here. Do we believe that this story that Natalie is saying is something that actually happened to her? Or something that she actually did to somebody else? Just food for thought. And then it brings us to the next part.
Here, in chewing-gum stuff. That's how she hated me.
Oh, I forgot about that bit there. Let's talk about the hate bit. Does Natalie have enough hate in herself to behave as the woman in the story that she speaks of? Think about that one. And that's what brings me to my question that I said previously. Is this story that she's telling really about someone bullying her or the other way around? But listen, considering that she is so hateful of women, and considering that she's always isolating herself, there is a 50-50 chance that this story really did happen to her. But just because somebody bullied you or a few girls bullied you when you was a kid, it doesn't mean that you then become who they are. You do not become your enemy. You're meant to become better than your enemy. It is no excuse. It changes nothing. It proves that this woman does not evolve. She does not mature. But let me know.
It actually brings us back to all this past stuff that you've been through. You got so upset with Sophie instead of dealing with your relationship with Josh.
No, I was a monster yesterday and I should apologize. But honestly, I don't...
For her to finish off by saying, I know I was a monster, but I don't care to apologize. Makes me wonder, like I said before, about the story, right? Was the story really about her being bullied or her being the bully? But either way, even if she was the one being bullied, does it excuse her to become the monster that she is today? That's her word. She called herself a monster, so I refer her as a monster. Somebody who walks around calling people whores, swearing and everything. This is somebody that had good cards in front of her when she met Mike, and then decided to, reshuffle those cards. And since then, she's been lost in the shuffle of those cards, trying to make something work with Josh or trying to make something work with any man in America. And clearly, no man in America has wanted to pretty much be with her. Am I surprised? No. Are you surprised? Let me know. But we move on to the next one.
Insane. And everyone
Wasn't
knows
a
me.
whole I could do.
She's insane. And everyone knows me. I'm not trying to take your man, bro. I'm gonna sacrifice who I am as a person to go down to some bitch's level that's 20, 30 years older than me.
I think Natalie lashing out at me has brought us closer because even though Rob doesn't like to admit it, he loves the tea.
You know what the maddest thing is, though? You're telling me that these two are only ever happy only when drama is happening around other people. That's not healthy. That is not healthy at all. Let me show you.
He loves drama when it's not with us. I really don't want to suck the nipple.
What's weird about it?
I don't want to do it.
Jesus Christ.
I will.
No, it makes me feel very unwanted and very unsexy then.
So let me get this straight. When these two are in disagreements with other people, that's when it's okay for them to laugh it off together, to joke about it together. I wouldn't exactly say that they work together even when they're against other people, to be fair, because let's be real, when Sophie was doing all this stuff with XYZ, Rob wasn't exactly getting involved, he was just staying back, which, to be fair, did make sense, do you know what I'm saying? But why is it that when it's just these two together, when it's just them two, there's always fireworks, there's always explosions, there's always issues. But with other people, there isn't. I'm not too sure if I'm making my point here, the way I'm trying to make it here, okay? So I'll just keep it simple, okay? It is very, very strange that these two are only happy only when they are involved with drama with other people, but they can never be happy when it's just them two. That's something that's very, very strange.
Feel like it's
It'd be sexy because it's a nipple.
yeah, we're just sexy.
No, it's not. It's a man's nipple.
Sophie's acting like my body repulses her right now, and as a husband, that's pretty up.
You know what's effed up, Rob? The fact that you still tolerate this girl. This guy is nearly, 9 years older than this girl? The thing that bothers me the most about Rob and Sophie here is that Rob, being the older man here, he was supposed to take control of this relationship. Supposed to be the leader of this relationship. And he has failed at doing it every step of the way. Now, here's the thing. Maybe he failed because maybe he was trying, but Sophie just wasn't having it because maybe she's a stubborn person. If that's the case, leave her. You can't be with somebody that no matter how many times you try to do the right thing, she puts you down. No matter how many times you try and do the right thing, she doesn't want to listen to you. Overall, just doesn't respect you. You're in a situation now where they are meant to be having this experiment, this sex experiment. And even in this sex experiment, she's still finding ways to make you feel like shiz about you. You shouldn't fight or want to stay with somebody that makes you feel like this, even through an experience like this. Because remember, there are some relationships where people, they get along physically, but they don't get along mentally. Then there's people that get along mentally, and then people that, then there's people who don't get along mentally, but get along, what? There's people that get along mentally, but not physically. People that get on physically, but not mentally. And then there's people that don't get on mentally or physically. And then there's people that get on physically and mentally. You two shouldn't be together because you don't get along physically, nor do you get along mentally. So there isn't even like a foundation where you can work from. If you got along physically and not mentally, maybe you can work on that. Maybe that means there's hope for the mental side of things. If you got along mentally, maybe there's hope for you to get along physically. Maybe. Ideally, everybody should be in a position where you get along with your partner in all areas, right? But these two don't get along in none of those areas. They only get along when it involves drama with other people. Does that sound like a sustainable relationship to you guys? Let's think about that.
You're right. She stops herself, so she stops us. I feel rejected. I feel not wanted. I feel
Let's just sit on that. Let's just sit on that. She stops herself. This is a woman that you are aware is in control of her actions. So you know that she's stopping herself from progressing in a relationship with you, her husband. So are you a husband? I really hope that these two did break up after this season, to be honest with you, because their relationship has never screamed any form of compatibility since day one. But we move on.
We slept together, even though it was accidental, technically.
Technically.
So tired and drained by Natalie's drama that we just fell asleep. Nothing naughty happened.
I wish, as she said after that, do you know what worries me the most? When I watch the show, or any reality TV show, but this show in particular here, right, is that we are witnessing couples who are having problems that when I watch it, I'm like, these problems can't be real. These problems surely don't exist in the real world, right? But that's what scares me. That things like these happen. That couples spend months, maybe years, not sleeping in the same bed out of whatever hate they have each other, but they still stay for whatever ridiculous reason they have. I don't care your reason, whatever it is ridiculous. It is not worth wasting your life being with somebody who you can't even sleep in the same bed with. But then when you do sleep in the same bed, it happened out of just luck. It just happened because you was tired. Why do people stay in relationships when you know the person you're with does not want to touch you? When you know that neither one of you want to spend time together in the same room, in the same bed? Neither one of you ever want to kiss, hug, hold hands, anything. Physical, emotional. None of that affection exists. None of it does. So why do people put them through this stuff? How can these two sit there? A 37-year-old woman and a 50-old man sit there and say, guess what, guys? Can you believe we slept in the same bed last night? As if it's an achievement. I don't know what's worse. Watching an episode of 600 Pound Life, or 1,000 Pound Sisters, or 1,000 Pound Best Friends, and these people get happy with the idea that they finally got approved for weight loss surgery. When you're thinking to yourself, bruh, you should have never got obese in the first place. Now, of course, that's a whole other conversation, all right? But my point is that I don't know what's worse, that or being in a position where you're happy that you finally slept in the same bed. Because do you know what they both have in common? Both of them are self-harm to your relationship. Self-harm to your relationship with food regarding your body. Self-harm in terms of choosing to be with somebody who doesn't even want to sleep. Come on now. This isn't something to be happy about. This is not progression. Granted, losing weight and then being approved for weight loss surgery, that is progression. Given that you don't reverse the surgery after you having it, of course. But this right here is not progression. This is a scream to say, why the hell are you still together? Some people need to understand that sometimes when your relationship is dead, your relationship is dead. Move on, find someone else, start fresh, and hope for the best. Trying to work on things with the same person time and time again is a waste of your energy and a waste of your time. How long do you try until you realize that there is no hope?
Is it really that bad to wake up to me in the morning in the same bed?
A directive. Where?
Can you imagine that being a question coming out of your mouth? Imagine that being a question that coming out of your mouth. Like, yo, that is some extremely unhealthy stuff right there.
Directive. Where do you think there might be a green light for you?
Oh, for here.
Well,
Maybe my neck?
I found this very, very concerning. So obviously this is the sex experiment, right, that they're doing. And the fact that Gino had the brush, and originally he was brushing in all the areas that were red flags for her, or red light for her. And it took an expert to tell him, or took Jasmine, whatever, to tell him where he needs to brush, and those are the areas of green light. So you're telling me after all the years of him being around this woman, he did not know the areas where she feels most aroused, the areas that makes her get turned on. Has their sex relate? Hold on a minute. No, hold on a minute. Jasmine has always made it sound as if like whenever Gino has given her the wood, like it's actually been like the relationship has actually been sexually healthy. I don't know, but either way though, it is very weird for him to not know what turns her on. That is very, very strange. Very, very unhealthy. How do you not know this? I just don't know if I believe this scene.
Sounds like what you're describing is like an open relationship. An agreement and have an understanding that you see other people for certain needs. Yes, yes.
Maybe we're in a lot more trouble than I thought we were.
So here's the thing. They were given a task of couples who were open to having a threesome. You pick yes, you pick no, or you pick maybe. These two both picked yes for a threesome. Okay, cool. Anyway, I just want to take a moment of silence for that because that's crazy to me. Either way though, when Jasmine then asked the question, or Gino's asked the question, he says, well, why wouldn't I want to have a threesome with another woman? So you're telling me that Gino, you're more than happy to not sleep with your woman for God knows how long, but yet you want to have intimacy with another woman. How does that make sense? You can't even please one woman. How are you going to please two women at the same time? I can't believe that Gino really cares about threesomes, because that doesn't make any sense. Maybe he cares about it as a check off his bucket list, but that's as far as it goes. But now we move on to the next bit here with Jasmine. I'm not surprised that Jasmine said yes because, well, she's in a sexist relationship. So, of course, she's going to want to have someone come in and, you know, entertain her life. But instead of having someone come in to have a threesome with them both, well, she'd rather just have an open relationship so she can step out and have her needs fulfilled elsewhere. Now, granted, this is a method that does work for some couples in this world. Each is of their own. If this is something that works for you and your partner, allowing your partner to go and do it elsewhere because you know that you can't fulfill his certain needs and he can get it elsewhere, listen, if that works for you guys, fantastic for you. But we know with these two, that's never going to work because the fact is their relationship isn't bad just because of intimacy. It's bad all around. All around. You know, he won't even drive her places. Come on. They don't even train together anymore. They do things so solo as if they're actually single people. You know, so this wouldn't even help their relationship. You just make it worse. All I know is this. If Jasmine is in a position where she feels that she still wants to mentally be with Gino, but wants to be satisfied physically by somebody else, that's nasty work because there's no way you can tell me that she's been mentally satisfied by Gino. Their relationship emotionally is not a relationship. It is not. So if she feels the need to want to step out of the relationship, don't step out knowing that don't step out with the intention of still having Gino being your man. Step out because you're ready to leave this man behind. That's what they need to do. This idea wouldn't work for them. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let's move on to the next one.
Support me.
You were dressed like a whore.
You are my husband. You should be my side. And you call me a whore. What is not appropriate for husband call this?
Honestly, I don't know what's right. Listen, calling your wife a whore that's crazy work right there. Crazy work. If you're not happy with how she's behaving, you have a conversation with her respectfully. Calling her whore is not the one. That is just childish behavior. That is ugly behavior. Petty behavior.
Brandon, how do you feel about Julia being under the maybe sign?
She doesn't even have sex with me. She wants to have sex with someone else?
Right, with a third person.
I don't understand that.
I mean, to be honest with you, what you're not understanding most importantly is that your marriage is going down, bro. It is going downhill. Downhill. But listen, she put maybe though, to be fair. You didn't say yes, she put maybe, which I guess doesn't make it any better. But out of just pettiness, what does he do?
It's a male fantasy, and I don't want it because I don't want to hurt my partner because if it was reversed, it would hurt me.
I believe Julia, except for the threesome part, I'm like, you and I can't even have sex. Why would another person ever be involved? That is insane.
You move to
Just start being intimate, you and I. You know, that's all I really want.
man will be excited if them no wife open for.
I mean, listen, to be honest with you, Julia should just be honest with this guy and just tell him that she's bored of her life with him and she needs to do something else with her life, and living life with Brandon just isn't it. I don't know if it's a case of where she's just bored of just being with him or she just wants him to just be a bit more exciting in life. Maybe she's just bored of the fact that he's such a basic person, you know, and she's a bit more out there with life, you know, but I feel like her wanting to do the whole go-go dancing, it may have been just a scream for help, you know. Maybe she truly does love him and does want to be with him, but she's just bored with just the same old boring Brandon who just wants to be like, You know, I want to be a simple man. I want to have a baby now and have a family and settle down and da 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 da. Meanwhile, she still wants to kind of enjoy life a bit more. I don't think it's a matter where she doesn't want to enjoy life with him. You know, I feel like she does want to be with him and she does want to enjoy life with him, but he's just so one-dimensional, so boring that he's not seeing that she just wants excitement in her life. It's clear that the intimacy is obviously dead. It's clear that he probably bores her because maybe he probably does the same things over again and again and again and again. He's probably a man of just missionary, and maybe sometimes he'll lick her toe. Either way, yeah, listen, it's clear. She's just bored. She wants to be entertained. You know, she's definitely an outgoing person. To be honest, the issue that they have here isn't even that bloody hard. All Brandon needs to do is stop talking about having a baby, and he needs to now start taking his woman on adventures. Listen, I get it. Financially, their life isn't the best, but that's another thing. They've never been in the best position necessarily financially, per se, from my history. So it's not like she's there with him or she's... The matter of the fact is, this woman has not used this man. She has stuck by his side through all the time that she's had to go through with his family, with just him. And I feel like they finally got past that stage, but now they're finally living in their own place. But the problem is that now they are living in their own place without the parents there and all that kind of stuff. This is where, for her, this is where their relationship has finally started. So she wants to just be out there enjoying life. But Brandon, on the other hand, he now wants to try and slow down and settle for the family right away. You know, I hope I'm trying to make... Okay, the point I'm basically making is this. These two are now finally in their own space, and Mary, what's her name again? And Julie just wants to take advantage of that first before having kids. Brandon is just not reading that because he's such a boring person. I think for him, you know, if he realized that this woman is actually just screaming out for help, because look at this way, she wants him to be the kind of guy for at least a year or a couple years to be like, hey babe, do you want to go and do this? Do you want to go do that? Do you want to go do this? Do you want to do this? Hey babe, do you want to try this in the bedroom? Do you want to try this? Do you want to try that? That's all she wants. That's all she wants. She's crying for help. That's all it is. But she just doesn't know how to communicate with him. To be fair, there's a chance that she doesn't even know that this is what she actually wants out of him. So she's acting out. But Brandon isn't smart enough to see that. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one.
Why don't you be honest? You love the ears. I'll mark it.
Why you forcing?
I'm not.
Maybe I don't like it.
Oh, you changed in the last 4 months?
But I'm not comfortable when she touch me because me and Ari, we stopped like sex like a year ago. I can't play make me shut down for every...
You know, I can understand that when you haven't had intimacy with your woman for over a year, I can understand, you know, how maybe it makes you feel shut down. I can understand that. But I'm not buying it. Like, I really hope after the season's over, it comes out that these two have now completely called it quits. The relationship is done. I don't know what's annoying me more. The fact that Benny isn't being open and honest about the fact that he's shut down, or the fact that Ari's being so naive.
everything.
I've had sex with you so many times, this is not a red light.
Ooh, that's kind of nice.
Don't worry, I got it.
Move it.
Vinny doesn't want to like admit to like enjoying the exercise. Like, grow up. Like, this is supposed to be a fun exercise.
So this is the problem, Ari. Actually, you know what? Let me check. Actually, no, I changed my point. They are at a couples retreat. They are meant to both be open to trying anything and everything to try and spark up that relationship again. Ari was obviously trying to do it. Fair enough. Benny is obviously not trying to do it. Originally, I was going to say that, hey, she just needs to open her eyes and recognize this man doesn't want her no more. And that is still the truth, and I still stand by that. But what is the point of doing this experiment if you're not going to try it? Benny has not tried. He's not tried once. He said that he couldn't try because of the password. She finally gave him the password, and he's still refusing to try. He said forcing it. I wouldn't even say that she was even forcing it. I would say that she was into the actual experiment. The experiment is sexual experiment, right? She was being enthusiastic about it. He was just refusing to be enthusiastic about it. The guy lied. He has not stuck up to his end of the bargain. You said you could not try with her because she was blackmailing you. Well, guess what, buddy? She gave you the password and you're still not trying. What is your excuse now? Benny is full of it. He's full of BS. I hope these two generally did end after this because this is absolutely appalling. unpopular opinion for some people, but I feel sorry for her so much. I do feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for her in terms of the fact that this man doesn't love her no more, but he probably never did love her, to be honest with you. But also on top of that, that she is so naive to believe that there's hope. I feel sorry for that part. I pity her for that. What do you do? Because you shouldn't be that blind. You shouldn't be that naive. You shouldn't be that stupid. Nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts and I'll catch you guys in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and happy Christmas Eve. Yeah, Merry Christmas Eve. Yeah, or Happy Holidays Eve. Yeah. Okay, I'm out. Peace.